Hello everybody, Roblox23 here. And I'm on spring break now, so thought it'd be a good time to catch up on a few video type things. Got a few new items. Not all of them are here, but what is here is what it's not here is at the other farm. And in other words, I'll do what's here, what I was trying to say. But you know, do a few updates and then just kind of look around, take an overview of everything. I don't think I've ever had a good video where I showed everything at once. But you know, this was in some videos more recently. This is the 1955 Chevy 4400. This was for those Texas people out here, so it's a Pearl beer truck originally, and they took the Pearl bed off, put this grain bed on there, or it's flatbed now, but it's supposed to be a grain bed. Put the sides on. Works either way. It's a pretty handy bed. That's why I wanted to get the truck going. And for those who don't know, I swapped the engine and it screwed up, which was the last video of it was the problems video. But I can report now that I have it all figured out. I had someone look at it. It's not actually the clutch that's binding it. It's some water ran out from the valves or something. Like there was some water in the intake and it ran in the valves. And the amount of time that I spent trying to get everything to get it in here, it rusted and the cylinder stuck. So, you know, a little transmission fluid and a good pipe wrencher with a breakover bar ought to fix that right up. And it's in the 77 Chevy, and I'm about to make a part 4 to this, I guess it would be. But we'll get to that a little later. Then we got the 1940 Farmall B. We paid $450 for this tractor. It's got planters, cultivators, and a bedder that goes on the back. So it was a pretty good deal. It started right up too. See, I rebuilt the carburetor. You can see that's a little rigged up there. I was just trying to get it going. But see, it's caught the same kind of disease that the case seems to have. It starts and then it idles all the way up. The engine wants to run away. So it needs a little governor work. Now this Alice, I know you've seen this before if you've watched any of my older videos. This is the 39 Alice. It runs good, always has. Always starts on 3 cranks. This was the first collector tractor we bought. Now, originally we had, my SMTA was down the hill, stuck and abandoned because in the late 90s, maybe 2000, they were using it to grow produce, and it just kept screwing up, and they didn't want to fix it anymore, so they abandoned it down the hill. And then my grandpa had the Farmall M 44M, and we'll get to that in a minute. But this B was the first collector tractor we bought, and after that, that's when we bought all the rest of these. But this B, we get over there, and he says, my grandpa said it always started on 3 cranks. And sure enough, he set that throttle and he cranked it 3 times and it started right up. And it still does now. I did, the engine is fine, didn't need to be rebuilt. No ridges, doesn't smoke. But I did all the seals on the engine. As you can see, it's still pretty clean. And started to I cleaned the back end up, and you know, you could clean it up and paint it right now. I just never got around to it. That magneto was actually on the Case SC. It's the same kind of magneto that was on this Alice Fairbanks, but that one had been reworked, so I just put it on. Now this, I've never really said anything about. This is you can see it's pretty shiny. It's probably the shiniest, most nicely painted tractor we have. This is a 51 Cub, and you can see there's a little wrong color on the front there, but it's not hurting anybody. But it runs good and everything, except what happened was I noticed that it started to leak around the fuel bowl. So I pulled on the line a little bit, and then an entire fuel bowl assembly crumbled. So it's gonna have to be drilled out, or just break all that crap out of there and put a new fuel bowl on, and then it'll be fine again. Hey, there's a shout out to Vidman08 right there. And well, that's not a tractor, that's a GX85. I think it was in a video one time. It was a stupid video though. And then over here is a 37 F20. I know it's probably been in a video before. This was the second 37 F20 we bought, and you know it was under restoration for a fair FFA kind of project. I need to continue it. You know, you can see I was almost all the way taken apart, just working my way back here, and I need to continue it. But you know, I got this old truck in here now, because this truck's going to be used. Still got some time for that. This truck's going to be used for hay season though. But that's why that's all taken apart. I can't wait to get some paint on that and put it back together. That's my favorite part, reassembly. This is a 1940A, so the B and the A are the same year. Oh, I thought that was kind of lucky there. It runs. It's just blocked by this truck like everything else in here is. And that's why we had a mechanic look at the engine on the truck, because we gotta get that out of here. Now this is one of my favorites because it runs great. This is a 1941 Farmall H. It'll fire right up right now. I'd put my money on it. Guess wrong, it's 6 volts. But it'd fire up now. But what happened, as you can see, that seal in the front of this transmission is totally gone. And it leaks bad. And it's got a crack on the bottom of that too. But what's going to have to happen, the hydraulic's going to have to drop out, and we're going to have to do those seals. And I might try to do that, because I would like to, you know, I'd like to do that before I have to cut hay, because I'm going to cut hay with that sickle over there. And that sickle is on a 3-point adapter now, but you're supposed to take this off, and it bolts right on the back of that. And I don't know, this may conflict. This, whatever those are, I forget what it's called, that PTO clutch thing. That may conflict, but there's got to be some way to take that off. You know, no big deal. If it has to come off, it has to come off. That's the only tractor that's got that on it. But I would like to mount the sickle onto this if I could, because I think it would be a lot better to have it mounted in that 3-point, because I think it'd cut better. And there's the rest of those pieces of that F20. We're not going to get into implements too much today. Here's the 730. This is a 1959 730D. Just got it semi back together. We bought it in parts, pieces. All this was somewhat taken apart, and we got new tires on it. So we got a. It runs pretty good. The injectors need to be cleaned because it's smoking pretty bad because the injectors are so dirty. But you know, you get it started up and it runs pretty good. It's pretty good 730 that we got about $3,000 in. So it's not bad. You're gonna get those injectors cleaned up, and that's gonna be doing some hay work there. And there's a 77 Chevy C10 in the background there. I'm gonna cut off for a second. I can see. Sorry about that. Some random 55 Chevy parts there. And this is a 36 F20. This is the only F20 that actually ran, or will run. I think the plugs are dirty now, but it runs. It's just covered up because it runs and it's sitting outside. Hadn't had time to work on it, but it runs. We bought it. This is probably one of the most interesting tractors we've ever bought, because you can see these are mounted planters. It's got bottom parts too where the drops are. It had side cultivators on it. It came with a belt pulley. It came with steel wheels. In fact, when we got it, it was on steel wheels. It came with these tires too. These are aftermarket steel wheels here. I mean, aftermarket rims. But it was put in a barn, and when it was put in the barn, there wasn't a chicken house and stuff built in front of the barn. So to get this out, we had to make a really tight curve with it. I couldn't get it started in this barn because the magneto was dead. I couldn't get started, and we had to pull it out, and we couldn't. Had like a 504, and the 504 didn't want to pull it. It was interesting to get it out. And I'll make a part 2 for these implements. It's going to take me long enough to upload this part. Now, and then we got the 41 case. Now, I kind of like this case. You know, I'm not much of a case collector. It's one of the only cases I have, but you know, it's pretty comfortable to drive, I will say. Plenty of room up here. The controls are easy to reach, and I like the hand clutch, and steers real easy too. And it runs alright, but this tractor is even probably more infamous than the 1949H, for those who remember it. Because of this, see, we got it for free, okay? Let me tell the story first. This is a tractor from West Texas. It was on a ranch that the family couldn't settle on who gets what part of the ranch, so it was getting sold. And the new owners of the ranch, this tractor sitting over there, new owners said that they were scrapping it. So I guess a distress call of sorts was sent out, and I answered. And that's how this ended up here. Now, it didn't have a carburetor on it, but it was loose. The tires are pretty dang decent on the back. Front ones aren't as good, but they're certainly good enough, better than some stuff around here. But, you know, went over there and got it, like the day before it was getting sold. And put a Farmall A carburetor on it. So the A was out of service a while, borrowing the carburetor for this. And it started up, and it ran pretty good, adjusted the timing a little. So I'm like, you know, hey, let's get us a new carburetor for it. And this will be a good little work tractor for around here. This was before we had the 730 and stuff. And this, at about the time that we decided that H started to leak real bad, because that was the secondary work tractor. I mean, I loved mowing with that. It's been out for a few years, or a couple of years already, just about. But we got a carburetor on it, and we start it, and it idles all the way up. It keeps running away. So I don't know, the governor won't stop pulling it. I've tried adjusting it every which way and everything else. I think the governor just has to be replaced. I tried rigging up that linkage, trying to get it to stop. I think it'll start now, and it'll run without running away, but the governor is not doing anything now. It doesn't make it idle up any when you try to go. So I'm just going to get me a new governor for it, or a new old governor, and we'll see if that fixes it up. And over here we got, this is the good old M. This has been here on this farm for, I want to say since, it's been here about 35 years, I guess. This is the second oldest in relevance to how long they've been here. The MTA has actually been around the longest, but this is second oldest, okay, in that aspect. But you know, this is just the work tractor around here until that 730 over there decides. I mean, until I can get the injectors cleaned up. That's what I'm trying to say there. Then this is still going to be the main work tractor. You know, had different things rebuilt, try to make it run a little smoother, but still runs the same way, but it always runs. Two more. For the last two, we got the first 1937 F20. This we pulled out of the field. It had mesquite trees all around it. And you can see it's been sitting for quite some time. This is one of the first tractors we got though. It's got, I think these are batters on the back. There was one of the trees. And you know, I'm sure everything here and back is okay except the clutch. But I don't know about this engine. I don't think it's cracked or anything, but it's been sitting a very long time, and it would have to come apart before I could determine what that's gonna need. And then the next problem being, this has a oh, I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, never mind that, but it's got a kerosene manifold, and that kerosene manifold's all messed up, so it needs that. But we think we know someone that's got a good engine, so I'd like to buy that and just drop that in here. And put some steel wheels on it, because you can see it had them originally. And then last, I don't know why I didn't get this earlier. We got the BF Avery Model A. Now I looked for one of these. This is one of the tractors I looked for the most, short of that 730 over there. Because my grandpa grew up with one of these. Theirs wasn't an electric start though, but you know, it's close. But this thing runs. I rebuilt the carburetor on it. It wouldn't start at first because the carburetor wasn't quite right, so I had to rebuild it. But it runs, except it blows hot exhaust from around where this pipe is mounted, and it melts the spark plug wires. So that's the only problem with that. It's supposed to be inside, but I unloaded it off the trailer in October after we got back from the show, and I don't know, we just never got a chance to put it up. So that's all for this. Thanks for watching.